What is up, everybody? What is this real life? We're live. Are we live? Are we live and in color? Yes, we are live. Really exciting day. Really exciting live to cover with my man, Mr. Brian Bogert in the house. He's got his own little apparel right now. He's big time. Maybe I should get a shirt. Maybe something, put it on my forehead, a hat, something. But I'm really excited to go over a lot of things with you guys today. Obviously, Winject Radio, Winject Studios, a lot of things are happening. We've been kind of hush-hush for a little while. Maybe that's why I'm so excited today. Don't even know what to do with my hands. What should happen?
What do I do? Where do I put them?
Where do I put my hand? I'm so excited. Like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? All right, so happy Money Wednesday, everybody. Ain't a day that ends in Y. Got to be moving and hustling. Brian, how do we going to get started with this? So many things to cover in so little time.
Yeah, I think we just go right at it. The reality of it is so many people have not even heard what Winject Studios is yet. We really haven't, but we've been going live now for a couple of weeks with you, myself, Justin, Adam. We've been doing this now for a few weeks, but here's the crazy part. Winject Studios and what we're doing in our community started 6 weeks ago. And so we really haven't gone public with it yet. We did a whisper launch to a handful of people, and we had 50 shows sign up within a few days, which was incredible. And in that same time, after that first week, we've had another 100 people sign up on the wait list. We had to literally shut it off because we weren't ready. We knew this was going to be big.
Too soon. Like, whoa.
But we didn't realize, like, when we opened it up that we'd have so many shows jump in right away. And then we were like, well, I guess we probably should put a little structure to this. So we shut off the valve, put everybody on the wait list. We're going to be opening up the wait list here March 1st. But we had some really exciting news that we rolled out on Monday to our current community members. We're calling our first 50 our founders. They are individuals who jumped in early. And for those that don't know, Winject Studios is a place where we have created that podcasters can come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. And in the time that we've already brought people together, we've already had show swaps, we've already had guest introductions, we've already had best-in-class sharing of technology and resources and interview techniques. So that's all happening. And we are focusing on community first. There is now and will always be a free option. And so I have to start with that for anybody who's listening, because this is no way a sales pitch today. This is 100% just announcing what we're doing, because we're going to be opening up the valve March 1st to the rest of the people on the wait list. And then at that point, we're going to be opening up the doors to any and all individuals who are in it, or any and all podcasters who want to join it, to start coming into the community. So what we rolled out on Monday was some additional tiers to get additional value. We've got a bunch of stuff baked into the free tier because it's community first. It has to be community first. That's the only way this works. And we know that podcasting is a lonely game, right? How many podcasters are out there, right, saying, other than my guests, I don't really have resources to go to. There's a couple Facebook groups. There's definitely networks. But this is inherently different. This is literally to help bring together mission and impact-driven shows to focus on broadening impact, plugging them into a bigger message, and getting them broadcast out to the world. So, we can talk at a high level about the tiers today, but what we're super excited about is that we're actually going to be going live. We already are live. Our first 50 are on board, and the next 100 come on here in 2 weeks. So where do you want to go from here, buddy?
First thing that popped in my mind, and I know this is a crazy place to live in sometimes for most people, but this is where I love crazy and I embrace it.
Scary.
Okay, let me kind of give everyone an analogy, what I see with podcasting before and what actually is a major catalyst on all of us coming together and forming this community. Here's how I see podcasting. A lot of podcasters, they do their recordings, they set up their meetings, they turn the microphones on, they start talking into it, they get their artwork done, they get their hosting site, they get all the things that they need to get done, their social media stuff, they even get their little branded cards that they have, their giveaways. They have all these things happening. They do their editing. They have their intros, they have their outros, they have their programs, products, services, and goods they're trying to sell. Then guess what happens, Brian? They post the episode. They take a clip from that, put it on social media, and they expect everyone to view. That doesn't happen. What that's like to me is like cooking a Thanksgiving dinner and going to the store, getting your recipes, going getting macaroni and cheese, going frying a turkey or whatever that might be, and setting the table, getting all dressed up and about to open the door at your house, and then taking all the food and throwing it away, not even enjoying the dinner. That's how podcasting is done right now for so many people out there. So much so that it's been like an itch that I had to scratch. Like, okay, I know what we can bring to the table collectively. Me, you, Justin Shank, Adam Shively, and all the 51st founders. The reason why we're calling them founders, they're the foundation of this community. The first people to walking through the door and trusting in our ability with us not screaming on top of a mountain, hey, this is what we're building. Most of them don't even know what we're really building all the way. And they're trusting it blindly. That first 50, that foundation is going to be such a solid foundation to showing exactly what can be done when you have a community behind you. Mm-hmm. That's where the collaboration starts going. And that collective impact, we're already seeing it right now. I had someone that I had no idea who it was, sent me a message because they saw me on Catherine Ely's show, Imperfect Thriving. Love her, man. She's such a great interviewer.
Solid show.
Used to be a lawyer turned, a therapist. She's phenomenal. Went on her show. She was interviewing me. We did a show swap. This is before Winject Studios even started to really take off. Someone listened to her show, then came on mine, and then listened to hers on mine, and then listened to a bunch of other ones. She's reached out by email, then went on Shannon Connery, which is another great podcast, Fix Yourself. Oh, yeah. She's a PhD. She's a phenomenal individual. That took off. Listening to other content, listening to some of your content on some other show. I would have never met that individual and got an email and was like, listen, I feel like I've known you for years just because I've listened to you on so many other shows.
Yeah.
That's collective impact.
It's happening already. And we already are seeing people come into the community. I mean, geez, we had some additional people jump into the wait list here just in the last few days that are anxious and clamoring because they've already heard that we're rolling out these tiers and they want to jump in. So it's an exciting thing. We have some really solid talent in the group already as well.
Yeah. And better than us. I feel like they're better shows than mine. You know what I mean? Off the rip.
But truthfully, there's some real good talent. Yeah. That's the other reason that we're doing this. Right. You could be the greatest show on the planet, but if nobody hears you, your mission and your impact aren't accomplished. You aren't reaching an audience. And so that's part of the other reason that we're doing this is to be able to plug really talented podcasters, really solid interviews, amazing guests, amazing stories, amazing content into the world on a bigger level. And so it's fun. One that actually just jumped in. She and I've been connected for, I don't know, a month maybe. Not
Who are you not connected to? Let's be real for a second.
Who, me?
Who are you not connected to?
A lot of people. A lot lot of people. I think there's a lot of people who don't want to connect with me also. So that's a whole other conversation.
How do I turn them off?
But, anyways, but Nina Perez, right? And so I actually joined her on her show yesterday. We ended up scheduling and booking this before she became a part of Winject. And again, another really solid example. She asked great questions. We had a really amazing interview. It was only 30 minutes. Her energy transfer on video is better than most people I've interacted with. And it's going to be a fire interview. It was great. It was really short, really succinct, but she's solid. So it's every single person that continues to come into here, we get to highlight their talent. We get to highlight their mission and their impact. Or is the old guy. I mean, he's another perfect example. He's a character in and of himself. Love this guy. Again, I was on his show. He asks good questions, and he has really fascinating way of viewing the world. And so there's all of these shows. What I would say for anybody who's watching this right now, not everybody has done this that's in the community yet. So this is a thing that we're cleaning up right now. We just brought on a community manager who's helping move things forward. So Nas is amazing. She's a part of our team and is already jumping in. She's a really talented podcaster, but she's following up with all the shows right now. If you go to Apple right now on iTunes or in the podcast section and you search Winject Studios, you're going to see a bunch of the shows pop up. Yep. What we're doing right now is we're bringing people together, and we want to make sure that it's really easy for people to find Winject Studios. And so we get to leverage, right, people like you, Chris, as one of the founders who has over 2 million downloads last year, so that when people are finding your show, see that it's connected to Winject Studios, it also pops up all of the other members of Winject Studios. Mm-hmm. Justin Shank, right, another one of our founders, an OG in the podcast game.
He's a freaking all-star. He's an all-star on all-star podcast.
Unreal, right? And again, he's voluntarily, he doesn't need to do this, but you guys both as founders are look, we can use our momentum to help other people.
Right.
And so he's another example. Adam Shively, another one of our founders. Guy's incredible. He's got some of the funniest IG stories and reels out there, by the way. So if you guys haven't checked him out, make sure you go follow Low Carb Hustle and Podcast Business School and Adam Shively in general. He's hilarious, right? He's like comedic relief for us, but he's brilliant.
Just say something real quick on that. And just to kind of shine a light on Adam and how phenomenal he is. I was a guest on his show. You connected me to Adam. You think Justin would have connected, but anyways, but Justin went on vacation. I spoke with Adam, went on his show, and the questions that he probably taught like 3 to 5% of the thing, which is probably really easy to do. Is my
especially when you're a guest,
right? Yeah, I went nuts, and I went nuts on his show talking about. I can't remember now what we talked about, but it talked about something, and it struck. He hit a nerve, and when he hit a nerve, he was talking about something where it was an issue that I see in the marketplace when people are trying to be somebody they're not, right? Yeah. And that's one of the things that drives me nuts, and I really push myself to the limits on making sure that I'm 100% authentic. The person you would see at a Starbucks, the person you see at a board meeting, person you see right now is the same cat.
Yeah.
Might be saying different things, but I'm the same cat. So when I see people that are not, they're throwing up the smoke and mirrors and, went to the circus, you've seen all the strings, right? And seeing who's pulling these. When I went on his show, he hit that nerve and I went nuts. I felt like I blacked out for a minute on the call. Yeah. And it was one of his first, one of the ones that he got the most downloads for, which is I'm blessed and I'm so excited to hear. But he saved that episode. I think we recorded it back in November or October. He saved it for the first episode of the first 2021.
Awesome.
To me, that was the best accomplishment. When someone saves your stuff saving that piece of content for the right time of to kick off the year, that was such a big thing for me.
Yeah, man.
For the point I'm making with that, how great Adam is, he saw how much that would make an impact with his audience and how much he cared about his audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam's one of the best in the game. I mean, I'm so happy he's one of our founders with us. For those of you who don't know Adam, again, we go live on Winject Studios 3 times a week. We're going Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to have different topical themes for each show. But Thursday, Adam runs solo. And what he's doing Thursday is he's highlighting, in 30 minutes, he's highlighting 3 of our podcast members. And this just shows how good of an interviewer he is, because in 10 minutes, he gets to the root, right to the core. He gets them right on board. He pulls out stuff that needs to be heard. It's just incredible. I mean, Coach Mel, right? She's a part of our group as well. I've known Coach Mel for a few months. I've been on her show. She's a great interviewer. She's solid. I hadn't heard her communicate to the world about certain elements of her story in the way that she did until Adam interviewed her on that Thursday Live. And she dropped fire in that 10 minutes. And by the way, I'm giving Coach Mel credit, but I'm giving Adam credit because he knows how to ask the right questions. To your point, he doesn't have to talk a whole lot because he knows exactly how to cut to the core.
Even though he should with that voice, right? Even though he should with that
butter
voice.
Oh yeah, that butter voice, man. I'm going to just admit something. He has literally one of the best voices on the planet, and his nickname is Mr. Butter Voice. But I'm going to tell you,
is your ears burning, Caroline? That's the email that I got.
Yeah,
Caroline. Oh my God, that's so crazy, and she's here live. Perfect example of collective impact. Thank you so much for the email, the love you with Shannon and Catherine on her shows, Impact Thriving. That's the email that Caroline, if you didn't listen to the first part of this, go back and listen. I was just talking about how great and how much that email meant to me. How much that meant to me. So that's so nuts. Anyway, sorry to cut you off, Brian.
No, you're good, man. I love that she just jumped on here. That's amazing. Right. So what I was going to say with Adam with his butter voice, sometimes I make sure that I get to my computer where I've got a nice sound system and a good sub that puts out plenty of bass. And I'll just listen to the voice recordings between the 4 of us on there, and I'll listen to Adam.
It's kind of creepy.
It is creepy. It reverberates.
That's a little creepy.
I mean, it's not like stalking, but I want to hear it. I want to hear it in its full depth because his voice is just so good. People say you've got a voice for radio. He definitely has a voice for the radio. But people also say that I have a face for radio, and so that's why I apologize that we're here on live.
Don't steal my stuff, man. That's the first thing I did when I jumped on his. I was like, "You got a face for radio, man." He was like, "What?"
Do you see Nas just jumped in? Nas is our community manager. She's a rock star. She's got a growing podcast. Yes, Adam and Coach Mel are the best. So anyway, here's the thing. We rolled out some tiers this week. We've got the free zone is packed with a lot of quality content. We've got internally for our group twice a month Q&As. Again, to work with some of the best in the business, Chris, Adam, and Justin, right? Who are just dropping knowledge, who all have experience, who all have big shows. They are coming in. They are just dropping fire every 2 weeks so that our podcast founders and all of the members in the community are learning from them. And there's a whole bunch of other things that we've got baked in. These tiers that we just rolled out, though, are for those that want to invest in themselves to get to the next level. And so again, I want to be very, very clear. There is no sales pitch here today. I'm not even going to talk to you about what specifically is in the tiers, but we have 2 different tiers that rolled out today at different levels. Some that we can do certain things for you, some that we're going to be teaching, and other ways that we're really trying to give people assets and collateral to be able to market their shows outside of Winject Studios as well, to guests and show swaps and all those things. So we're just trying to pour as much of our experience and knowledge into a position where people are receiving value, because the listeners are the end game. That's what we all know. The audience, the listeners, we need to reach more people, have more downloads, and be able to have our podcasters, in some cases, also monetize their shows so they can afford to do their hobby, right?
Yes.
So that we're in a position to be able to supplement and fulfill their hobby in a way that our world can be impacted in a better place. Anytime I can align myself with quality people to have collective impact, I'm in. And that's why we all said yes to this.
It's kind of like we build out a community and building it just so we can have conversations with our friends and we keep them close.
It's true.
You know? I mean, it is. That's what it feels like, though. It feels like, it's really exciting. Obviously when this goes a little bit, gets it further down the road and gets a little bit clear of the outcome that we're all after here, right? And we're starting to see that major impact with the listeners. And that's what it's all for at the end of the day. When podcasting came about, and of course I listened to podcasts before, like Chris, you should do a show. And I'm like, I got time for that. I'm building this, I'm doing that. Then when I got involved, I realized that the community is just so open, and they're sitting there waiting. Like, I'll be happy to go on your show. Some of these people that I brought onto the show, yourself included, charge by an hour about like $5,000 to get on the phone. So, I mean, just I want that to sink in just for a second with people. Like, some people, when they come on podcasts, and it's just their way of giving back and elevating others just so they can elevate themselves. Right. And dropping little nuggets here and there. But it's not what we say, it's what they hear. And that's where we can take a little bit more of a approach with some of the podcasters and really shining a light on, explain to the audience and talk to them like they're there. And that's one of the pieces of advice that I give people when they're trying to maybe just having better interviews. But when I'm having an interview with you, and there's a couple times in our interview, I stopped the conversation and talk to the audience. Yep. Here's what he meant by that. Say that again, Brian. Expand a little bit more in depth on that, because at the end of the day, that's the ones that are in the earbuds, right? Mm-hmm. They're tuning into your show to hear this guest. But if that's a little unclear to you, explain it. Talk to them like they're there. Yeah. And that's one way to get so much engagement. And now you open up the door, create the environment for them to feel safe to engage with you and be approachable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What are you most excited about with this next stage of rollout, Chris?
I would say just seeing everybody going from, okay, I see the idea, I can feel the vision, I can kind of understand while we're all doing this, but then watching that feeling of them watching their downloads grow, and then also their engagement in creating like raving fans of their communities, and everyone coming together and working as one heartbeat, one mission, one outcome. Once we kind of get in cadence, it's kind of like, I'm probably military. Most people understand this. When I very first went to boot camp, and I feel like this is like 5 lifetimes ago, I got off the bus, they're screaming at me. I was like, why are they yelling at me? They don't stop and tell you how to get in formation and what to do, what not to do. They just expect you to know how to do it. But once you get in cadence and you get in step, that you can do great things. Yeah. Great things. Like great things. So you might need a Justin Schenk or an Adam Scheibele, a Brian Bogert, or myself, right? Just by one huge community. And once we start doing things in all that same motion, and that ends, want to get to the outcome, and we're all, long as we're aligned with our core values and what we're about, winning is always going to be the outcome. Yeah. Always. Yeah.
I love that you just said that winning is the outcome, because here's the thing, bringing people together to focus on community collaboration and collective impact. The podcasters win, their audience wins. We literally all win. When we can plug this into a bigger message and allow more people to hear these really amazing, talented interviewers and the content that's being pushed out, everybody wins. And the world, right? I know this sounds crazy, but there's a whole lot of stuff. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm on a mission to impact 1 billion lives in the next 25 years, right? Winject Studios, by the way, is a vehicle to help do that. It doesn't have to be my impact, my words, my message. Bringing people together to focus on collective impact is a part of that billion. And so I know this sounds like a crazy comment, but I genuinely believe we bring enough good people together who are out there trying to put the right messages into the world, put the right things into people's minds, bodies, and souls. We can change the world. And that's what I'm excited about, is I genuinely think that this is a unique opportunity for podcasters to come in and for audiences to really be able to know that they're going to have quality content that's coming out from a singular source, multiple different shows who are all aligned. And again, it's like a row team, right? When you're all rowing in sequence, when you're all in cadence, like you just talked about, we get to move faster with less effort. And so we're combining our forces so that we really can have a bigger impact.
Right. The way of going about making sure that we're always going to tick the boxes on that and keeping people in cadence and keeping people in step. Even if, what's one great thing about a community, even if you're going to have some days are going to be difficult than others, you might go into like a rut and go like, man, I'm in a funk. Lean on a community to pull yourself out of that. I think that's one of the other, like if I can put a 1.2 on the back of what you said, that, like, what are you most excited about is catching people before they jump in, they fall into that.
Yeah.
It's easy to do, man, especially in the world we're living in right now. We're forced to stay at home. We're forced to do, different things. Well, it's kind of hard being plugged into your energy source all day long if you're unsure of where you're getting your energy from in the first place.
Yeah, that's deep. That's real.
That's real. So think about that overall for a second. If I had this type of opportunity and this type of community when I started off in podcasting, there's a lot of areas of my life that I wouldn't have failed at the beginning. Yeah. I was doing a lot of things, man. I was like editing. I didn't want anybody to touch my show, like the content. I was chopping up the thing in the beginning and the end of it. And now I'm just like, just hit record, man. I don't even edit anything. Just put it on there and bam, put a stamp on it. We'll mail it in, but not mailing it into just getting the outcome. I want them to capture those moments in that real time.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that comes with podcasting that people do. And then what are you going to do? You're going to pay someone at Fiverr or these freelancers to do your work? That's putting a signature to your work. And you wonder why you're not getting the outcome that you're looking for. They go, oh, I have this done and this done. And they're charging out the yin yang just to edit your show. Just put a logo on your show. Everything that just needs to ooze out of you. Being 100% authentic. And if it doesn't, then that's why you need to come here. That's why you need to get on that one heartbeat, one mission, one outcome, and allow the community to do its work by itself. It's really difficult to be around positive energy and be negative.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I mean, that's one of the things I talk about with just general awareness when people are like, how do I get myself unstuck? I mean, in the most simplistic sense, it's like just take toll on the things that give you energy in your life, like the things that bring positive elements, that charge you up, that leave you feeling like you could run a marathon afterwards, that put joy, freedom, and fulfillment into your life. And then make a counter list on what are those things that drain your energy? What are those toxic sources? And I mean people and sources, literally. What's flowing through you that's bringing negativity and leaving you drained and depleted and all those things. And try to eliminate as many from the negative list as you can and move to the positive list. It's no different here, right? This is all we're trying to do is build a positive momentum around a bunch of amazing individuals to do this. And so, what we're announcing today is just an invitation to become a part of the conversation, an invitation to become a part of the community, an invitation to be a part of something bigger than just you or your show or your audience, but an invitation to be a part of helping change the world through collaboration and collective impact. Our community is going to help foster those things. And so if you are a podcaster watching today or listening, or you see this message, or a podcaster that's going to watch or listen, send them this recording. And I would just say direct people to winject.com, winject.com. It's right here on the screen. And about halfway down, there's a click here button that literally gets you into the community. March 1st, we are going to be opening up the wait list. And so I'm going to reemphasize what I said in the beginning. The invitation is literally, there is now and will always be a free option. As long as I'm involved in the organization, there will be a free option because community is essential. And so we just want people to join the community. That's what we're asking. If you decide at some point to invest further, awesome. We're going to be there to help you. But I want to be very clear here. There is a lot of value in the free section alone. And we just want people that are wanting to change the world, who want to have impact at their show, to be a part of our crew, because collectively we can do more.
There's a question that just popped in from Miss Caroline, the one that I was just, it was so funny, man. I really believe in ESP, and she just got off a coaching call with Catherine, and we were just, that's funny, right? So,
oh, dude, yeah.
She just posted in the chat, and I just had my eyeball on it. It said, not a podcaster yet. And I love that she used the word yet, but really thinking about starting. That's something else that we're doing for people. Like, even for you, you're one of the founders of Winject Studios. You don't even have a show, but you've been on like 50,000 of them. But let's talk about that if we can for the last 5 minutes. And if, say, for instance, you are an influencer, you are someone that is trying to tap into other networks and to really make an impact in the world today, and you don't have a show, like, that's one of the options that we're going to be having moving forward. If you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're going to do. So again, yeah, I've been on a couple of shows over the last 6 months. But it's been a blessing. And truthfully, yeah, I think that's one of the really funny things about me being a founder of this, is that I don't actually have my own show. But what I bring to the table is I've been on more shows probably than the other 3 founders collectively. Maybe not quite. I think Adam's probably been on a lot. So is Justin. But they've been in the game a long time. But my point is, I've got a whole lot of experience as it relates to being a guest, landing on shows, and those types of things. So we're going to have 2 different things that we're going to have be a part of this. We're going to help people with startup shows. If you want to start up a show, we literally are building and helping individuals understand the structure, the equipment, the technology, the teams. How do we actually structure this so that you can get a show up and running and not have to go figure it out, but literally have veterans in the space and a whole community of podcasters around you to help you launch your show, as well as being a part of the launch team to be able to help bring exposure to your show. That's big. The second is, we're not here yet, but we are in the process of building it already, because we've already got 50 shows on, and we're going to have 150 here within 2 weeks, assuming the wait list doesn't grow between now and then. We'll probably have 500 shows on the platform by the end of the summer. And so we're already building a back end that's going to be able to categorize shows based on criteria, be able to understand exactly the types of guests that they want, their audience profiles. We've got a Winject Connect within our community right now, which gives the full profile and download of what everybody's show is, who they're targeting, who their ideal guests are, who their audiences are. And so over time, as influencers, we're going to be able to really target based on what you want to do, where your target audience is as an influencer, be able to help coordinate introductions to get you onto platforms in a massive way. I will tell you that podcasting, I completely downplayed. I didn't have any value on it. And to my own detriment, until we shifted into COVID, it has changed the trajectory of our business in a way that I can't even explain, because it's evergreen content. And when you have really solid conversations with people and you connect with them on a deep level, you collaborate with people. Guess what? You and I, Justin and I, Adam and I was on each one of your shows, brought all 4 of us together. You and I started brainstorming on this with this idea that you had in your head. And it's like, let's go. I haven't met any of you in person, and we are in business together.
Right.
Podcasting can change the game if it's done right, both as a host and as a guest. And so we want the community to really be able to house and give value to both groups.
It's kind of like, if you don't take action in getting yourself out there and more exposure, you're going to keep doing the same things that everyone else is doing right now and dumping money into ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever you're doing, email marketing. I mean, I know I keep referencing Adam's comment because it really resonated with me. It stuck with me. Podcasting is one sure way of talking directly to the people that you want to have a conversation with. It's 100% open rate if they download, if they subscribe to your show. It goes right to your phone. Ding. New episode. Dopamine. I don't have to get into like that rabbit hole and going that deep into the chemistry behind a human brain, but we can if we want to. But
we probably will over time.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole point is you have to figure out how you can take the game called podcasting, looking at it in a bird's eye view and going, okay, where can I take this and take a sprinkle it into what I'm currently working on right now? And if you're doing it with the right intentions behind it and putting in that right energy and transferring that energy into your future buyers or whatever you're trying to focus on, the end result, you're always going to win, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You want to get more eyeballs and more ears on your stuff? You got to tap into the right network.
That's right.
You have to.
So we're gonna close with this. If you are tired of being the best kept secret, if you want to have impact on the world, we just invite you to join the community, and we hope to see you there.
Cancel Christmas. End of story. Hit the music.
This podcast is part of the Windchecked Studios network, where podcasters come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how to apply to join the network, go to www.winject.com. That's WINJECT.com. If you're ready to make a difference through podcasting, then we're ready to see you there.